Today we are going to switch over from the consumer side of things and demand to the producer side of things and supply. Supply and demand are very much alike, so hopefully you'll pick up on the concept pretty easily. We should probably start with the law of supply, which is as selling prices increase, supply will increase. And I'll show you why this is true on a supply curve right now. I wanted to model the law of demand and the law of supply here and their curves, just so you could see the similarities and differences of the two. As a brief refresher, I'll start with demand. The demand curve runs downward and to the right because as things get cheaper, more people want to buy them because you can get more of something at a lower price. Now, maybe you're starting to pick up on what the supply curve looks like. The supply curve runs upward and to the right because as things get more expensive, suppliers want to make more money, so they'll produce more in the hopes that they'll sell to more people. And they do, but eventually the consumers here, the demanders, the consumers will pick up on these higher prices and demand less of whatever good or service they're demanding, and the suppliers will be forced to lower their prices, but that's just the way the market works. Now we're going to look deeper into supply with Chucky and his ice cream. Here's an easy concept if you understood change in demand, which is change in supply. Change in supply is when the supply curve actually shifts. So let's find out what that looks like. Let's say this line represents the supply curve of Chuck's ice cream in the summer, and this line right here represents the supply curve of Chuck's ice cream in the winter. Now you see the supply curve shifted to the left because in the winter, less people want to buy ice cream, so Chuck is forced to supply less. Now let's look at the changes in supply at different price levels. So at the price level of 3, for instance, in the summer months, Chuck supplied 3 cones at $3 because he knew about 3 people would want to buy his cones at that price. But in the winter, he's forced to supply less, only 1 cone, because he knows not as many people will want to buy his ice cream at $3. So you see how it works there at different price levels. The curve actually shifts. Elasticity of supply, another fairly easy concept. We're going to look at that right now. If a good is considered elastic, that means a price change causes a large change in quantity supplied, and if a good is considered inelastic, that means a price change causes little or no change in quantity supplied. And we're going to look at 2 goods and decide which is elastic and which is inelastic right now. Here you have 2 goods, gasoline and Gatorade, and we are going to use the graph to determine which good is elastic and which good is inelastic. And we're going to do this by measuring the change in quantity supplied if the price increased from $2 to $4. And let's start with the gasoline. At $2, the quantity supplied of the gasoline is just 1 unit. At $2, the quantity supplied is just 1. But at $4, right here, the quantity supplied just increased by 1. It's 2. So you see, at $4, the quantity supplied is 2. And the difference of the 2 points is just 1 unit. And now let's look at the Gatorade. At $2, the quantity supplied of Gatorade is 4 units. At $2, the quantity supplied is 4 units. But at $4, the quantity supplied jumps to 8 units. So you see the Gatorade is elastic because the price change affected quantity supply more than it affected the quantity supply of gasoline. Here the difference is 4, and here the difference is only 1 unit. And this makes sense in the real world because gasoline for producers is harder to come across, so it's harder to increase supply on gasoline, but it's much more easy to increase supply on Gatorade because you can just work your factories a little harder, make people work a little longer, etc., etc. Stay tuned for more economics lessons from past that class. Thanks for listening.